Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. That's right. Isaiah loses again. Isaiah loses again. We have it. You know what? As much as we give Isaiah a hard time, and Isaiah, do you understand why we give you a hard time?
Because
because I'm out here spewing my mouth about all my teams, whether it's the Lakers, the Niners, the Sharks. I mean, heck, I came on one of our shows, said, how about them Sharks? After they started 4-0, and the last time I checked, they lost like 2 or 3 in a row. So I don't think I'm going to talk sports ever again.
Or just not really say much to anybody, just kind of do this. That's what I would do. Just do this. But anyway, welcome to another episode of Sportsminute. So let me go ahead and welcome in the gentleman that we have with us tonight. So, of course, let's start with that man that we call Mr. Big B. Big B, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Took a couple of days off to kind of recoup from birthday last week. So went out and had some fun, and I'm glad to be back to talk some sports.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure, man. And then, of course, welcome in that man that, likes bacon on everything, pretty much just like everybody else. We call him Mr. Crispy Bacon. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody doing tonight?
You know what? Not bad. Having a very, very good night. And then, of course, we have Mr. Isaiah loses again. Welcome in, Isaiah. Isaiah, how you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing absolutely horrible. That's how I'm doing tonight. Big B, first of all, before I continue, just want to wish you, my man, a belated happy birthday. I missed the show that you were on when you were celebrating your birthday, but
thank you though.
I can't believe the Lakers blew a 26-point lead. I think I've been a Lakers fan for 10 years. This might be the worst regular season loss I've ever had to endure. There's no words. No words out of my mouth. It's flat out embarrassing, and this team deserves to walk home from Oklahoma. Not take the bus home, walk home. Forget walking home. Sprint home. Frank Vogel should make this team have to sprint back from Oklahoma back to Los Angeles.
So, Isaiah, and these are reasons why. These are reasons why when my favorite teams are playing, I don't come out and I'm like, oh, my team's going to come out and dominate. I don't say that. You know why? It's because if you come out and say that and your team loses, then you look like a dummy because you're out there running your mouth. So that's why
I wish you could have said the other thing you were going to say.
Yeah, I know. But that's why even when it comes to the World Series, I was like, there's no way we're sweeping the Astros, okay? I came out and said it's going to be a good series. There was no way. I'm not going to come out and run my mouth on that. It's just not going to happen, man. So maybe one of these days Isaiah will learn to not talk about his teams, how they're going to come out and destroy everybody. It just doesn't work out. And when you lose to the freaking Thunder, who were 0-4 and potentially one of the worst teams in the NBA, who are in full rebuild mode. I'm telling you what. But anyways, welcome in Mr. Randy Cox, or known as Dragon Viper. Dragon Viper's in the house. Welcome, Dragon Viper. Welcome in Christy Wilson. How's it going tonight, Christy Wilson? And then, of course, welcome in Amy. She's watching the show too, saying, hey, guys. So, of course, tonight, we have some great topics for you. We're gonna start it out with the World Series. So, we saw Game 1 and Game 2 so far. We saw Atlanta come out and win Game 1 6-2. We saw Houston come out and win Game 2 7-2, which I think this is kind of where everybody thought it was gonna go. Everybody thought it was gonna be definitely a back and forth series. And that's kind of what you're seeing now. But this is the problem that we're seeing now. When it comes to Houston, McCullers, he came into the series hurt. So now they don't have him, and he was technically the Astros ace. Now what happens to the Atlanta Braves now is that, we lost Charlie Morton yesterday with a fractured fibula. So with that, this is the problem I'm seeing. So Astros and Braves have a person to pitch in game 3. And then it comes to game 4, and both the Astros and Braves are like, well, shoot, we have 2 legitimate starters. So what are we both doing in game 4? You know what? This is where it gets interesting, because we did just bring 2 people up that have had experience pitching in the majors. We just brought up Kyle Wright and Tucker Davidson. So one of those 2 could potentially come in and start maybe game 4 and game 5. I don't know. But so far, the first 2 games have kind of been higher scoring, kind of what we had assumed. The Braves came out in game 1 just on fire. The first inning, Soler making MLB history on the very first batter in game 1 by being the first guy to ever hit a home run to open up a World Series. That was
Really?
amazing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Nobody in the history of Major League Baseball has ever done that. And it was kind of interesting today that Brian Snitker kind of changed around the lineup. He decided to move Soler to 5th and lead off with Rosario. And then kind of flipped the script today to where the Astros came out hot and the Braves came out cold. So right now, Big B, I'll go ahead and start out with you. What's your first thoughts so far on games 1 and game 2?
That's a tell of 2 different teams right now. I mean, like you said, the Braves came out hot. They got the spark with the home run. And then it looks like the Astros came out and, got a spark by pitching, I guess you could say. So I think the Braves are going to go as far as their stars can lead them. Freeman, Rosario after the last series, Solar, Alberts. I mean, you keep those bats quiet, the Braves are going to be a team is going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
On the Astros side, you can probably say the same. You keep those, you keep Altuve off the bases. You keep, some of the other guys out there. Again, Astros are going to lose. So to me, it's going to be coming down to which pitching staff can do that the best. And right now, they both show they can. We'll see what happens when the Braves go home. Now the pitchers have to bat. So, how is the Astros going to manage that? When they have to do it 3 games. So, but we'll see. We'll see what starting staff, bullpen can. I think that's what it's going to come down to: is starting staff and the bullpen.
Well, yeah, because this is where it gets interesting a lot in the World Series now, because now since you're going to the NL side, now like Atlanta, they had both Soler and Peterson in the lineup because they were using Soler as a DH, and they're like, well, we want his bat in the lineup. Well, now you can't do that in the National League, and the Astros were the same way. So now the Astros are going to have to figure it out, be like, okay, who are we taking out of the lineup? Who are we keeping in? And that's where it can be tricky, because you want to make sure that you make that right call. And if you make the wrong call, then you're like, oh man, that could really come back to bite somebody. But Big B, my question for you on this is, what do you think the Astros and Braves are going to decide to do when it comes to game 4 after they're past their final starter that they have?
I don't know. I mean, I personally hate the bullpen game where you bring a reliever in after reliever after reliever. I mean, you go 5 starters throughout the whole year. I don't know why you don't have a starter start game 4. I guess injuries. I mean, I don't know. I guess if I was them, I would start their 5th starter that they have in game 4. Or I guess a long relief, but typically those are starters too. So I hope they don't play the bullpen game. I kind of think, I don't know, I think it's stupid. But again, I'm not coaching, I'm not managing, so whatever analytics I guess prevails.
Well,
but
I think what the overall thought process was going to be, because they originally each had 3 starters going into this that they were going to use. And then once
Yep.
they both lost their ace, they go, okay, before they lost them, like, well, we can make game 4 a bullpen game for both sides, but then game 5, we can go back to our ace. But now it's like, now what do you do? Because now neither team has their ace. And so now you might have to go with 2 bullpen games in game 4 and game 5. And it's going to be what bullpen can hold up the longest.
Yeah.
That's going to be where it's going to be tricky. Because both bullpens, I mean, Astros bullpen, they got worked a lot yesterday. The Braves bullpen got worked a lot yesterday. Today, even though Fried was started out rough, he was still able to get us enough innings to where our bullpen wasn't worked over as much. But Crispy Bacon, I'll go with you on this one. What was your thoughts so far on game 1 and game 2?
Oh no, it's been a good matchup so far. I mean, we're only 2 games in, and so far the first 2 matchups have been, or at least the first 2 games, have been high scoring, and I think it'll continue, for at least a couple more games. And I'm not sure who's gonna, we hope that Atlanta's gonna come out on top, but it's gonna be a tough matchup.
All right, and then now we'll go to Isaiah. Isaiah, what's your thoughts so far on game 1 and game 2?
It's been polar opposites the first 2 games. You have first game, the Braves come out, they punch the Astros right in the mouth early on in the game. And then in game 2, the Astros return the favor and they do the same thing to the Atlanta Braves. Like Big B said, if you keep guys like Albies and Rosario and Soler and Duvall, and Freeman, if you keep those guys quiet, and also Riley as well, if you keep those guys quiet, you have a really, really great shot to win the baseball game. And that's what the Astros did tonight. They kept those power hitters, the top hitters for the Atlanta Braves, they kept them quiet tonight, and that's why the Astros were able to come out on top of the W tonight. Plus, their offense just completely went off tonight, and it started with Jose Altuve. I think he had like 2 home runs, if I'm not mistaken.
1. He had 1.
Yeah, he had 1 home run in this game, but he also was outstanding at the top of the order. Brantley was outstanding as well. He was 2 for 4. He had an RBI. And then, the bottom of the lineup, Gurriel, Siri, Maldonado, Tucker as well. They played a big factor in this game as to why the Astros were able to come out with the W and even the series.
Definitely. So I think we all agree that when it comes down to it, this is going to be a great series. It picks up again on Friday. It's going to be interesting to see where they both go after games. Oh, okay, Big B, you were going to say something.
I'm kind of looking at the stats here. I can see the Astros go with Odorizzi game 4 if they don't use them game 3.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I think game 4 could end up being Odorizzi versus Kyle Wright. Those are 2 people because Kyle Wright got called up. And Kyle Wright came in today just to kind of get a little bit of work, and he struck out the side. And he's a guy who has MLB experience. He's been out there. He's pitched in big games. He pitched last year in the NLCS, and he pitched in the wild card round. So he has experience. And so maybe Kyle Wright versus Odorizzi could be somebody you might see in game 4.
I can see that.
Don't they have Greinke as well? Couldn't they start Greinke, or is he not stretched out?
They have Greinke, but I don't think they want to use him. Yeah,
because I've been wondering, isn't he because I've been wondering where he's been this entire postseason. I know he got injured, and prior to him getting injured, he wasn't all that good. But I expected him to, come back from his injury and be a part of the starting rotation in the playoffs. But I guess the Astros don't want a guy throwing 85 miles an hour out there on the mound.
All right, so we have James Gonzalez, who's also here, and then Chardol is also here saying, hey, what's up, everybody? Last thing before we move on to our next topic, you may not be a Braves fan, but you got to give props to Charlie Morton, dude. Coming in pitching 16 pitches with a broken leg. I mean, talk about dedication, man. His leg's broken. He comes in, pitches 16 more pitches and gets the final out, and then comes out in the next inning and strikes out Altuve and then says, "Okay, I'm done," and then walks off like, dude, that's crazy right there. Pitching on a broken leg.
At least he
That's
tried
so
it first.
good.
He wasn't like, "Oh, I'm hurt. I can't play." He's like, "I'm going to try to tough it out here."
No, but he was actually fighting. He was actually going against Snitker as they are in the tunnel, and Snitker's like, "You are done." And Morton's like, "No. I can find it. I can pitch. I just can't run, but I can pitch. So if you let me go on the mound, I'll be fine to pitch. I just can't run." And I was like, dude, that was dedication. And Snitker's like, "I can't let you do that." And he's like, "No, I can pitch. I'm fine." Like that's crazy. That is dedication. That's showing you want to be in the World Series. You want to play in the big game, which I don't blame him, man, because it would take like a gurney to take me out of a big time game. The Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA championship, anything. If I'm playing in the big dance, you're gonna have to wheel me out on a gurney before I leave that game, because I'm not leaving that game.
A la Paul Pierce.
Right?
Well, I mean, Zach or Isaiah, you bring that, or Isaiah, I'm looking at it as Isaiah loses again. Hey, you bring that up. What happened 30 years ago today?
30 years ago. Oh, are you talking about the famous Brett Favre thing? Is that
Nah, Zach or Jack Morris going 10 innings against the Braves in Game 7.
Oh yeah.
We're never going to see that game again.
No. You will never see any starter go 10 innings again.
No, and there's a guy I want on my team. You know, you tell your manager you ain't coming out and getting me. You know, and
Get back
and Morris has stated too that if Tom Kelly would have came out to give him the ball, there would have been a fight at the mound.
Right.
So,
I don't blame him.
Right. Yeah.
no, I don't either.
You get one shot at this.
Exactly. You only get one shot, like Chris said.
Yeah, it's like when somebody's pitching a perfect game, right? And they're up to like 110 pitches, and they're in the 7th inning, and the manager is coming out going, "I got to pull you." I'd be like, "The hell you are!" I was like, "I don't care. I'm at 110 pitches, and this is a perfect game. You ain't pulling me, man. I'm finishing this thing."
And it's like what you're saying, Ace. It's like the only time you're wheeling me out is if I'm on that gurney.
Right? Yeah, because I'm not leaving this thing, man.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we can go to our next topic, which is we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL trade deadline because it is coming up, you know, and we have seen a few trades happen already. We have seen Mark Ingram go from the Houston Texans back to the New Orleans Saints where he started, which how many of you actually knew that Mark Ingram is actually 80 yards away from Deuce McAllister of having the all-time Saints rushing record?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he needs 80 yards, and he's going to be the all-time Saints rushing leader until, of course, Alvin
McAllister. What a name!
Right.
I haven't heard that name in forever.
That's like an old-time name.
Yeah.
Of course, until Alvin Kamara breaks that because it's coming. Like Alvin Kamara is going to break it. Yeah, he's going to get it. That dude's a beast. That dude is an absolute beast. And then I think kind of a more puzzling one is once Zach Wilson goes down, you have the Jets who reach out to the Eagles and they go, "I want Joe Flacco," and they bring Flacco back in to come out and start. I mean, you have your option. You're either going with Joe Flacco or you're going with Mike White. And everyone's like, who the heck is Mike White? The guy has no experience whatsoever, so obviously you want to go with Joe Flacco.
Well, he was a backup in Dallas, and they never used him.
Yeah, no, it was just a figure of speech.
Oh.
You know, by saying, you know, people would come out and be like, Mike White, who the heck is Mike White? If you follow football, you know. But the point is, though, is that a lot of people would be like, you're going to really go with Mike White. So going out and trading for Joe Flacco, I guess it's not like a horrible option. He
knows the system.
He knows the system. He's won a Super Bowl. He'll help you get through the next couple weeks. Heck, you might be lucky enough to have him help you get a win. Who knows? But
they're not even going to start him. They made a decision today. They're starting Mike White, even though they got Flacco.
They're going to have to. He's only been there for like 3 or 4 days, so he's not ready yet.
But they also have. I was looking at the practice squad.
They got
They can
Danucci
move-
too, right?
No, no.
Don't get
they
Chris's
also
hopes up.
they also have Josh Johnson.
Who?
Josh
Oh yeah,
Johnson.
he played for the Niners last year. I remember him.
Oh, okay.
Josh Johnson. Yeah, but
He
a lot
played
of
in the NFL.
yeah, but he's not. They'll probably elevate him and bring him on the active
Yeah.
roster. But
That's what I'm thinking.
and maybe if Mike White struggles, they might be like, well, I know Flacco, you've only been here for 3 or 4 days, so we're going to go ahead
Can't do
and throw
any
you out
worse.
to the Wolves and try it because he can't do any I almost said
Any
Wolves,
worse.
but you can't do any worse. I mean, you really can't because the Jets right now are just horrible. And James Gonzalez saying Texans will take back Matt Schaub at this point. I think the Texans would because you see kind of like the Texans right now are definitely in that sell mode, which brings, it to that next point too, is that what teams do you see at the deadline being like, well, we're going to go into sell mode and just start selling our players and just trading them away. I think it'll be the Jets. The Jaguars might do it. You could potentially maybe see Carolina. You might see them try and make a trade because it hasn't panned out the way that it was supposed to for them. Definitely the Texans are another one of those teams, the Lions. But Big B, I'll start with you on this one. What trades do you see coming and who might be sellers at the deadline?
Oh, that's what I'm kind of looking at. Who would be sellers? I mean, but again, it's hard to make a trade in the NFL. I mean, we're seeing minor trades move. Flacco here, Ingram back home. I mean, maybe Pittsburgh, might be sellers. Maybe somebody could try to get a Watt. I mean, you said the Lions, but I think the Lions ousted everybody in the offseason. Who they got left? I mean, maybe the Bears, Carolina, you said. Seattle might be the interesting team. I mean, they're 2-4, 2-5 right now. So, a couple more losses and, we could possibly see them on the move, unloading people. But, I don't know. I mean, the NFL trade deadline, it's not like Major League Baseball or basketball where you're like, okay, this guy's going to go so-and-so where. I mean, the asking prices for these guys are so outrageous right now that it's ridiculous. And the contracts, you got to cover the contracts and stuff. So, I don't know. I'll be surprised if we get 2 more moves before, what is it, November 2nd?
Yeah, it's next
Is the
Tuesday.
deadline?
It's
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if we get 2 trades involving anybody with significance right now.
So we have Christy Wilson who's saying the Jets are a dumpster fire. Oh, they are. They're
They've
dumpster.
been for a while.
Yep, they're definitely a dumpster fire. And James Gonzalez says he said he can even see Miami selling just a little bit. Taking a few of their core guys like maybe Xavier Howard and trading him away because I know he's asked for a trade before. Maybe somebody like Devontae Parker, you might take him and trade Devontae Parker away. Gesicki, possibly. But Big B, going back to what you were saying, actually an interesting point from one of the teams that I heard that I kind of was thinking about. You were talking about the Bears, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, because we all know how bad their offensive line is. So this would actually not surprise me if they took somebody like Allen Robinson and traded him to get a better pick to try and entice other teams to get them some offensive line help. So that's definitely something I could see.
I could see them doing that, or possibly taking a 2nd-round pick and going to one of these teams that aren't that good and be like, hey, give me such and such lineman. Maybe they don't hit up the teams in the playoffs. Maybe they hit a team that's on the border, or like the Dolphins or somebody that has a good offensive lineman, and be like, hey, I'll give you the number 2, number 4 next year, and you give me your best offensive lineman. So because they got a quarterback to they got to protect. I mean, if they want to be good, I mean, so
And James is also saying maybe possibly Denver. They could. I mean, because they do have Drew Lock, and I'm not saying Drew Lock is great, but there's teams out there that might look at Drew Lock and be like, he's young, we need a quarterback, so they might try and go to Denver and get Drew Lock. I don't know.
that's the one. Think about that. That's the one guy maybe Jets should have went after instead of going back for Flacco. I know he knows the system, but Locke might need that new scenery. He's been passed over how many times in Denver, and maybe he's just kind of bored with it. Let's move on. Maybe Rodgers for Drew Lock in the offseason.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, all right. So, Isaiah, I'm going to go to you on this one. What do you think of the trade so far made, and what do you see any teams selling at the deadline, and who?
As far as the trades that are made, like you guys have said, it's moves, but it's not moves that are going to make you jump out of your seat and go like, wow, this is going to change the landscape of the NFL. Like Mark Ingram going back to the Saints. I mean, it's an okay move for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, they have Kamara already, so they're going to go back to that 1-2 running back committee duo that they had a couple of years ago. And then I think Flacco to the Jets, I think that was necessary because the Jets, they don't really have another veteran quarterback outside of Mike White. So that was like necessary to make. But I just don't know if I see like any moves that happen to the trade deadline that would just make me go like, wow, I can't believe like this team actually got this player and they got so much better, because that's what typically the NFL trade deadline is like. It's not like baseball trade deadline or the NBA trade deadline where you just don't have like those moves that just make you go like, wow, I can't believe this team made this move. But as far as the teams that I could see selling, I mean, there's just a lot of teams that right now are like at a crossroad. They could easily win 2 in a row and they could easily be back in that playoff picture. But I could see, Miami, Detroit. But like Big B said, I mean, they've already sold like so many players out. Who do they have left? The Texans. I could see Denver just because I think that they have a really tough schedule remaining, and I just don't think that their situation is going to get any better. Plus, they have 2 corners, I believe, Bryce Callahan and Kyle Fuller, if I'm not mistaken. I think one of them got benched, and
it was Fuller.
Yeah, Fuller. Fuller is the one that got benched. So I think Fuller will be on the move, to be honest with you, because I just think Denver has a surplus of corners. He already got benched. He has his playing time cut. I think he wants out, and I would not be shocked if he gets traded at the trade deadline. Plus, I think that he will come for cheap just because like he already got benched. He got his playing time cut. So I think if I have to pick one trade that I think will happen, I think Kyle Fuller definitely gets traded, and I want my Niners to be in on that because, hey, we need corner help badly.
Well, when you look at the Texans, like people are talking about, don't forget, if you need receiver help, they have Brandon Cooks. So somebody could go out and try and trade for Brandon Cooks. And Fuller would definitely be a nice pickup for the right defense. You have to get him on the right defense, and he definitely be the right pickup. So, Chris, I'm going to go to you on this one. What do you see happening at the deadline?
I could probably see New York Giants maybe get, into the trade deadline. I mean, I don't know if it'll help much, but I could see him getting into the mix. Every year, Dallas fans wants to be in. Dallas fans wants the Cowboys to be in it. I doubt there will be, so I'm not even, going to get my hopes up on that. Not that we need any help, but I just don't see it. Jacksonville, I see it. Houston, yeah. Maybe Miami. Maybe the Colts. I don't know.
Well, I completely forgot about the Giants, but the one thing that I do agree with you on the Giants is, are the Giants going to be at the point now to where they're like, you know what? Is it time to move on from Saquon? Is it time to move on from Daniel Jones? Is it time to – because they have people on their team that can't seem to stay healthy. They went out and got a Kenny Galladay. That dude's made of glass. Sterling Shepard, he's always in and out of the lineup. You never know when he's going to be healthy. You have Evan Ingram. He can never stay healthy. You have Saquon Barkley. He's never healthy. So at what point are the Giants like, you know what, it's time to move on from Saquon? And it could be a possibility. I think if the Giants got the right call from the right team and the right team offered them a good, decent amount of draft picks or the right player, the Giants might hop on that and be like, absolutely, I will do it. I don't see why they wouldn't. I really don't.
One team here too. What about Kansas City?
I thought about that.
I don't think
they're kind of in a mess right now. What do you think they could be thinking?
No, I think if anything, they're not going to be sellers. I think what they'll try and do, which they probably won't because it's Kansas City and they focus more on offense than defense. But if they were to try and get anybody, I would say they need to get help on the defensive side of the ball because they don't have help. And so if they were to make moves, they're going to have to do something at the deadline to try and get some defensive help.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just kind of curious what you guys thought.
If I'm Kansas City, I'm making the call right now to Miami to get Xavier Howard because you desperately need help at secondary. And I don't think that I don't think Denver would do a deal with them because you're not doing a deal in division to get one of their two corners in Callahan and Fuller. So I think if they get Howard, that could maybe help salvage the defense a bit.
I think Kansas City would have to make two moves like that, though.
Yeah, it won't help a lot, but it would help at least a little bit, but definitely not a ton. But KC went after Merciless too. They wanted Merciless before the Packers signed him, and Merciless actually turned down more money to go play in Green Bay, and the reason was he's like, I could not see myself on the Chiefs defense because he's like they can't stop anybody. I'm like, you know what? It's true. They can't. He's not lying. And so he had a legitimate point there. James is saying the Eagles. Now, when it comes to the Eagles, I don't know if you guys read what the coach said for Philadelphia. So
no, I didn't see it.
Yeah. So basically, what this coach said, and when I show this, I'm like, dude, as a head coach, you can't say this. So he came in, and this was the message to his team. He came in and it says, even if the results aren't showing, there is growth under the soil, and that everyone in this building needs to be fertilizer for the Eagles because we are flowers and we need to bloom. And then what he starts doing is he starts showing pictures of flowers to everybody in the locker room and starts explaining how flowers blossom and they bloom. And I'm like, oh my God.
What, are we in science class or something? I mean,
yeah. So when I saw that, I'm like, dude, that's bad, bro. That's bad.
I mean, what else? That's the one thing is you can never get a straight answer from a coach, because they always twist it to where they don't think that they're thinking of anything. They don't think their team's in trouble. Oh, we like everybody here, blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah, but when you give speeches like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. What do you guys think of Nate's comment here? Barkley to the Bills.
The Bills do need a running game.
Uh-huh.
They need a running game. And I'll tell you, if they got Saquon from the Giants, they would be like lead dogs in the AFC to be like they're representing.
I'm praying it happens because I picked him up in our fantasy league just as like a backup.
Oh, there's another Isaiah team,
Well, I'm sorry, Saquon, because Isaiah picked you up. It means you're going to get injured again. So I'm sorry. I just you know what's happening, Isaiah. You know what's happening.
By the way, Dante, I like your idea. I really do like your idea, but I don't know if Callahan would come cheap as Fuller. I think
Probably
would be
not.
or cheaper.
All right. So we'll jump into our next topic, which we're going to say if you were to start a franchise in baseball. And I've just been waiting for this forever because Isaiah always talks about, oh, I should be the coach of this team. I should be the GM of this team. I should be. So this is your shot, Isaiah. This is your shot to explain to us where you would go. So the question is, if you were to start a franchise in baseball, what position would you pick first, and who would you take first?
Let me clarify. So when you're asking me like who am I going to take first, do I get like the entire pool of current MLB players?
You get the entire pool of MLB players.
No, you all get people from Oakland.
And you get the entire pool of MLB players. So if you were to do a fantasy draft and like you would on Madden and baseball and stuff like that, if you were to do that, what position would you take first, and who would be your first pick?
Ooh. Well, my first move would be to name myself manager because I think I could do a better job than half of the managers in baseball. Because hey, I don't follow analytics, and you ain't gonna tell me to follow a binder or whatever.
I'll give Isaiah credit there because I wouldn't do analytics either.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, but I could see Isaiah as a coach now. Like that would be.
Well,
That's
I mean,
funny.
Ace, you could be my bench coach because knowing me, I probably get ejected for like 3/4 of the entire season. But first move that I would start with is honestly, I'd probably go get myself a center fielder. I would go get myself a center fielder and build it from the back up to the front. Because I think pitching, you could get there's a lot of really good starting pitchers and relievers out there. So, like, I don't need to focus my team on pitching, like, in the first couple of rounds. I don't need to do that. I think the outfield is more premium. So, honestly, my first pick, if I had the first pick, my first pick would definitely be Mike Trout because that guy is the best outfielder right now in baseball. He's a 5'2" player, great defender. He's a guy that's a great hitter. He doesn't strike out too much. He gets on base. He hits the ball to the opposite field. So that would definitely be my first pick. And then I would say my other move would be, and this is probably going to make you guys walk off the set, it's to get Starling Marte. This guy's one of the most underrated outfielders in all of baseball. I watched him for half a season in Oakland, and I'm like, how is this guy getting no hype whatsoever and nobody talks about him? I mean, this guy hits the ball to the opposite field. He gets on base. He's a tremendous defensive outfield. And he's a great leader as well. He doesn't take any BS on the field when he's playing. He's the most underrated outfielder in all of baseball. So definitely, I would have. You give me Mike Trout in center field. You give me Starling Marte with his arm, with his ability to steal bases, with his ability to hit the ball to the opposite field, with his ability to not strike out at all. Give me those two. I think I'm winning the World Series because I'm going to have a team that doesn't strike out. That's the thing about baseball. This is why I hate baseball nowadays. It's because it's just strike out or home run. I grew up watching the San Francisco Giants with Andres Torres and Buster Posey and those guys with Bruce Bochy, and they would actually play small ball. That's the kind of team I want that can run the bases well, that can get on base, that can play small ball, move runners over. That's what I want in my baseball team. So that's why I'm definitely going to take Mike Trout number 1, Starling Marte number 2.
Wow. I guess at least you didn't say Matt Chapman.
I struck out too much. Like I said, I don't want that home run or strikeout culture on my team.
So James Gonzalez saying when healthy, he'd go with Trout. Tim Fielder saying give me Trout. Now, James was also saying if you're going with history, give him Ricky Henderson. And then Dave Koch is saying, I hope all of Isaiah's team is players that don't live in a trunk. So, all right. So, Big B, I'm going to you next. Starting a franchise, what position and what player?
Oh man, I mean, I honestly think he got. I mean, I know they only pitch one every 5 days, but I gotta go at least. I gotta go starting pitching. I mean, you need that. You need that bulldog. You need that. You know, Kershaw when he's healthy. DeGrom. You know, I mean, honestly, I think DeGrom had first at 90% over some of these guys at 100%. And then I'd come back and I'd take another starter pitching. You know, I go started pitching my first two, at least my first 2 out of 3 picks. You know, but yeah, I gotta go started pitching. I don't think there's anything. I mean, I like Isaiah's thinking you gotta get yourself a stud outfielder. You know, somebody's quick. Honestly, I think Buxton's probably Buxton's the most underrated outfielder because he's always hurt. But there's stats out there that prove that in the lineup, he's a 75% winner when he's in the lineup. So you can't pass that up. But for me, it's two starters in the first 3 picks.
You know what? That's not a bad way to go. I think a lot of people would choose to go starting pitching over pretty much anywhere else because you need solid pitching. You need if you don't have solid pitching, you're not going anywhere. You have to have solid pitching. All right, so Chris, I'm going to go to you on this one.
I don't watch enough to know. I'm not sure on that one.
He'll say any Texas Rangers players. He's going to go with that.
Then that one name, Josh Hamilton. Then.
Well, that's not a bad pick. I mean, overall, I mean.
I was completely kidding. I did not think. I seriously did not think you were going to actually go with the Texas Rangers player.
Are we going all time on this picks? Or are we going right now?
Right now.
I mean, I would say right now because if you go all time, I mean, honestly, if you can get the Braves starting 2 or 3 all time, I mean, what other pitching staff has that? I mean, maybe the Dodgers might come close, but But right now, yeah, I'm taking DeGrom number 1, and I'm coming back second with the pitcher or third pick with the pitcher. Ace, what about you, bud?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, man, it's close because I've always said that I wanted to go. If I had a choice, I would love to go pitcher first because that's that. Whenever I play, MLB, the show, and I do a fantasy draft or whatever, the first one I always do is I always take a pitcher. My first 4 picks are usually the best pitchers that I can find in the game because I'm like, you have to have that solid starting rotation. Ohtani might be a good one to go after because he's definitely kind of that dual threat guy that you could go after him. Jacob deGrom, if he's healthy, if he could stay healthy, he's probably the best pitcher in the MLB. So Jacob deGrom would be a guy that I would go for. Oh man, Scherzer would be another guy I would go for. But the reason why I would kind of shy away from Scherzer is because he is 37, and I don't know how long he wants to pitch for, and so. If I'm starting a franchise, I'm like, okay, you know what? He's 37. I might get a few years out of him, but maybe not a ton. So I might look at a younger talent.
Well, yeah, but you could bring him in for. You could bring him in. Serger in for a year or 2. Be like, okay, I want you to be the leader of my starting staff. I want you to be the leader of my pitching staff. Show these guys how to do it. So
how important is catcher to you guys though? Are you guys gonna take a
Well, you do you do need to have a good catcher because the simple thing is you need to be able to stop any wild pitches that are trying to get past you. You need to be able to throw out runners, and you need to be
But you also
able
need
you need to be
you
able to control the game too. Like you have to know how to control the game. Try and set up your defense. Try and set up your your infield, your outfield. You have to know all that. So as a catcher, you have a lot of responsibility.
yeah,
And
no, as a catcher, you have to be the teacher, the leader. You got to know every team's weaknesses, every batter's weaknesses. That's why, in my opinion, catchers make the best managers coming out of after retirement.
definitely, but
And
if you were to,
I think Joe Mauer would make a hell of a manager.
Joe Mauer, Buster Posey, Yadier Molina, I'm telling you, that dude is gonna be a Hall of Famer. Molina is
Molina will be a heck of a manager.
yeah, that guy would be like because one thing about Molina, you don't run on that guy. You cannot run on Molina. He will gun you out faster than anybody I've seen. That
Not
dude has
Isaiah.
a
Isaiah's
quick
quick,
cannon.
I hear.
Now, debatable. But so Dave Koch is saying, remember Satchel Paige? They thought he was too old. Well, true, but I'm just saying at 37, I'd be a little bit scared. And Dante Garcia, he's giving an update. He's saying that the Cavs lead the Clippers 92-77 with 51 seconds left. Is Cleveland?
All right, Isaiah loses again with that team. All right.
Isaiah loses again. All right, welcome in, Sarge. How's it going tonight?
Doing good. I heard baseball. I had to jump on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So
Sarge's debut on Sportsminute, I believe.
So the question is, if you were going to start a franchise, what position would you choose first, and who would you take?
Well, I was listening to Isaiah. He was kind of correct on his first pick. I don't know where he went on his second pick. He just went on one of his little tangents with that.
Some Oakland guy.
That's true. That is definitely true. I mean,
he went with Starling Marte as the second pick.
Dude, he can't even pick a team and stay with it. So. Right. But I would have to agree with him. I mean, I would have to start with Trout with that one because he's pretty much the face of baseball. You can put him in any situation and he's going to do great. Then I would honestly focus on at least two quality good starting pitchers, then work on my bullpen because you know what, games are 9 innings long, 3 hours long. You're not going to have your pitcher throw 120 pitches. So I learned that from the Mariners. But that's where I would go with that one. And with your catchers, I mean, I'd rather have a catcher like what you were saying, Ace, that I'd rather have a catcher who could manage the game. I don't want a catcher that's like Mike Piazza who can hit a whole bunch of home runs and stuff because the catchers are pretty much controlling the game and controlling the pitchers on what pitchers to pitch with that one. So that's where I would go with all those.
Absolutely. I've never been big on being like, oh, we have to have a catcher that hits for power. To me, a catcher is about defense because you want to prevent runs from scoring, and that's what a catcher's job is, to try and throw out anybody on the base paths when they try and steal on you. And Molina is definitely one of those guys who can do that. When it comes to MLB right now, he's like the first catcher that I think of that I'm like, dude, if I could, that's who I would take. If I had to take a first catcher, I don't care how old he is, I would take Molina any time. So, Callan, love seeing nearly everyone's name say Isaiah loses again. Absolutely. It's fantastic.
So I got something for next week. Let's have a little fun with this. What if we come up with our own roster? Give us a week.
Absolutely. Okay.
And I don't mean let's go out and we're gonna pick all studs. I mean, because that would be easiest to do.
Well, no,
But I mean, give us some thought. Give us, a couple good starters. 3-4 pitchers. Make a 25-man roster. I think that'd be a good homework assignment for everybody.
Yeah,
what are you guys up for?
I'm glad that you clarified up the stud because I was like, I'm right here, guys.
Oh yeah, I would definitely take you at first, sir. Sorry, no doubt about that.
Yeah, take me in the outfield. I got it. All right. So Isaiah, Callan's asking, did your Vancouver Blues play tonight? All right, so let's go into our next topic, which is, we're talking about wacky sports. So what are some wacky sports that you have heard about? And Chris, I'm going to go with you. What kind of wacky sports have you heard?
Trying to think of some off the top of my head. I've seen some wacky sports.
Oh, there's some wacky ones out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some. Come back to me.
All right. And so Nate wanted me to let you know Russell Westbrook had a quadruple double, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists, and 10 turnovers. So there you go. He got the quadruple. All right. So
can we use the words Lakers, please, and Russell Westbrook as well?
All right. So
I thought you were all for that trade.
You were all for it. You picked this team as a 70-win team. Not looking so good now, is it? All right. So Isaiah, we talk about wacky sports. So what is a wacky sport that comes to mind for you?
Ooh, a wacky sport. Wow. I'm like Chris. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because I know there's like a lot of great ones out there, but I just can't I can't pinpoint exactly like one that is so wacky. Like the one that I keep thinking about is I don't know if you would consider this a sport, but it has been like reportedly discussed before for the Olympics, and that is the giant Jenga. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's a giant Jenga board. Yeah.
Yeah, the giant Jenga. Like I don't know why that's been discussed for an Olympic sport, but that is like something I could come up right now off the top of my head. I'm sure I'll probably have like something else later on, but that would be cool. I mean, anybody could just like that. You could just from the streets could play that sport. I mean, how hard is it to play Jenga? You don't have to lift weights. You don't have to, run laps or anything like that to get ready for that sport. So hey, if they put Jenga, like
if they legalize it, okay.
Legalizing what?
Sign me up. I'm doing that all day.
Okay, I got a wacky sport in a minute.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, I saw it on TV, and it's in Mexico. You know how when you're a kid, you get a balloon and you start tossing it around?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sport in Mexico.
No way.
And they had a championship, I think a week ago.
In Dallas? Because that's something
in
they would do
Mexico.
down there. Oh. Okay, I was close.
You were close. So the three that I could come up with was number one. It's called tuna tossing. So
I just saw that.
Yeah. So it's like if you're over the age of 16, you come out and you have these giant tunas and you see who can toss the tuna the farthest.
Don't they kind of do that in Seattle? Sort of.
I don't know. I know
They
this
do,
is. I know this is in Australia.
They take the full fishes and they'll toss them to each other.
And then they also have cheese rolling. Okay, so Randy Cox was just saying that. So they have cheese rolling, and then they have bun climbing. So
what is cheese rolling?
So
you roll it down a hill.
Yeah, cheese rolling is like this. Yeah, you try and roll cheese
and you roll it down a hill.
It's cheese rolling, and then of course my honorable mention is what's called greasy pole climbing.
Ooh,
that is my honorable mention. So Big B, I'm gonna go to you on this one. What do you got for us?
I just saw the cheese rolling. So it's a 8-pound double, 8-pound round cheese. They roll it down the hill. They got people running after it. The first one to get it wins.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we've talked about this before, A-Side and J-Mac. some of the ones I always see is like face slapping. You sit there across the table from somebody and you just wind up and just slap them senseless. Oh yeah, it's brutal. There's also outhouse race, wife carrying. You carry your wife and through like a maze or something, and she's upside down. So I don't know. I just some of these people have to be smoking some shanky or something when they come up with these sports, but. I don't. And then what was the other? Chess boxing. You box, and then you play around the chest, and then you go box again. I think the only guy I could beat in that chess boxing game would be Nate Robinson because he can't take a punch. So maybe Isaiah if I can catch him because he's so quick.
Oh, I got a good one. Giant pumpkin regatta. Since we're in the mood for Halloween right now, it's perfect. Just carve like a giant pumpkin, put yourself in, and roll it in, down a lake.
Yeah.
Your 49ers should have done that. They probably would have won that game.
You may be right, honestly.
All right. Sarge, do you have any wacky sports for us?
Oh, man, do I have any? I want to see Isaiah do this one. It's called ferret legging. It's where you tie your ankles together and they put a ferret down your pants and see how long you can last.
Don't give Isaiah any ideas. He'll do it.
I can't help it. I had to.
While eating a baked potato with Fruit Loops on top of it.
He will. He will do that.
That pumpkin regatta is already spinning in my head. Like, maybe I could do that one of these days. We got a lake.
We're gonna be watching like a Giants game, and all we're gonna see out in the cove is like this giant pumpkin.
Man, you're giving me an amazing idea, Sarge.
And it's going to be Isaiah that you're going to see out there doing these interesting crap out there. And it's going to be, of course, it's Isaiah because Isaiah is the one who would do all this stuff.
I want to see Isaiah versus Colin in a toe wrestling contest.
I won't even watch that. I'll probably throw.
I think I would watch any wacky sport Isaiah's a part of.
You guys remember like ESPN8? It's like on every so often, and they have those like these like slippery stairs or something like that. You have to like try to climb up the greasy stairs.
I just watched Wipeout for that.
Oh, there you go.
Wipeout!
Wipeout. That's another good one.
Here's one I just came across for J-Mac if he's listening. Beard and mustache growing. May the hairiest face wins. How is that a sport?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that take a long time, though?
Probably take a year.
Well, I don't know.
Grow beard first.
Depends on how long it takes you to grow beard, I guess. I don't know how to answer your question, dude.
Okay, here's a weird one. From Harry Potter. Quidditch. I probably said that wrong, but
Oh, were they on the broom flying around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So before we wrap it up, I did say that I had to do a little bit of Aces mini game here because everybody loves my mini games.
Woo! Oh, I'm so ready.
We need a cheerleader for this game. Can we get Isaiah to do us a cheer again?
Possibly tomorrow. On Kicking It with Isaiah and Ace. You might actually see it on there.
All right.
I got him to do one last week, so I guess where'd Isaiah go?
Here he comes.
He's like, I'm out.
He left. He's back. I was like, no, you can't leave. All right. So since Sarge is one of the staples on this show, so not Sarge, but Big B, since you're one of the staples on Sports Minute, you'll have the option whether you want to go first or not.
Okay.
And so what's going to happen is I'm going to give Big B a question, right? And so when I ask him a question, he has the option to pass that question. And if he passes that question, Big B, you get to choose the person who gets that question.
All right.
And then they have to try and answer it. All right.
All right.
Your question is, in what year was the first ever Wimbledon championship held?
Go for it, Isaiah.
All right.
And you can't be looking it up. You can't be
I'm not
looking
looking it up. I'm right
All
here.
right.
1860. Give me that.
That is not right. That is
I
not
was gonna say,
right.
if he's anywhere near close to that, I'm walking.
He actually was close.
Really?
Yes, it was actually 1877.
Oh, okay.
So he was pretty dang close. All right, Chris, this comes to you. It works the same exact way.
Okay.
Hg is the chemical symbol of what element?
Pass to Sarge.
Well, that's the one guy I would have passed to.
Right? Yeah, don't pass it to Sarge.
Oh. Helium?
No, that's not
I
correct.
thought about that too.
The correct
No.
answer is mercury.
Oh, I would
Why
have
is
said
the
helium
periodic
too.
table so weird? I don't get it.
So weird. All right.
I flunked science anyway, so I wasn't gonna get it.
All right. Isaiah, this question comes to you. Which email service is owned by Microsoft?
Ooh, I know this.
Are you taking the question or you passing it?
I'm taking the question. Dang. AOL.
No, that's not right. That's not
It's
right.
Google.
The correct answer is Hotmail.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
Oh,
Hotmail.
Well, I didn't know that one.
Would,
I would say Google.
Outlook be one too?
No, that's actually an app.
All right. Sarge, this one comes to you. What?
Okay.
Which country produces the most coffee in the world?
Is it the coffee beans or making the coffee?
It just says coffee.
I'm going to take it. And I'm going to say Colombia.
No, that is not the correct answer. It's actually Brazil.
Ooh.
I was thinking of some other stuff for Colombia.
All right. Big B, this one comes to you. In which city was Jim Morrison buried?
Oh, John.
Is he taking it?
Some
Is
reason I know I should know this too.
he taking it? Is he passing it?
No, I'll take it. I will go. I don't know. Salt Lake City popped into my head right away, but I don't think that's right.
No. The correct answer is Paris.
Oh,
All right. So, Chris, this one comes to you.
Okay.
All right. What was the first state? Chris is like, oh crap.
Oh gosh.
And this shows you how much you paid attention to history. I'm
No,
just saying.
I'm going way back.
Are you passing it or are you keeping this question?
I'm passing it to Big B.
oh. It's a good one. I'll go with Maine,
No, the correct answer was Delaware.
Delaware.
In my head, I was thinking Massachusetts.
I bet you Sarge wanted that question too. He wanted that question. All
I
right,
don't know. He
Isaiah.
might have to ask his wife. You know.
Isaiah.
He's a geologist.
What is the capital city of Spain?
oh dear God. Oh man. Isn't it Barcelona?
No.
Madrid?
It's Madrid, yes. All right. Sarge,
Strip my high school diploma from me.
this comes to you. What is Chandler's last name in the sitcom Friends?
Oh.
Man, my wife is not even on the comments. She knows that one.
Text her quick. Tell her to get on.
I'm gonna give it to Crispy Bacon.
I know.
Chris, like, crap, I knew it.
I don't even know.
Is anybody going to get on the board at any point? Like, this is horrible. Just throw something out there, Chris.
Williams, I don't know.
It's
Williams.
Bing.
No, it's Bing. It's Bing. It's called Bing. Well, obviously he wasn't going to send it over to Big B because he knew the
I should
answer.
have kept my mouth shut.
So, final round. Let's see if anybody can get on the board in the final round here. All right,
Did
so
somebody get one right so far?
no, nobody got anything
Okay.
right.
Well, you kind of did, but it was after he.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
All right. Big B, about how many taste buds does the average human tongue have?
Good luck.
72.
No, the correct answer is 10,000.
You were close.
You're very close. All right. Crispy Bacon, how much?
5 million.
5 million. Wow. How much does the Chewbacca costume weigh?
More than one hairball.
150 pounds.
Wow.
I
No,
don't know.
the correct answer is 8 pounds.
Oh,
150
It
pounds?
looked heavier. It looked heavier. So.
It
I
does
don't
look heavy.
I don't think anybody would walk around with a 150-pound costume to say it.
Maybe Deontay Wilder would.
Maybe.
All right. Isaiah, this comes to you. Remember, you can either pass it or try it, but this is the last round. So, what colors are the Norwegian flag?
Oh, dear God. I'm going to take it. Give me blue, red, and white. Is it? Yes, blue, red, and white.
And Isaiah is correct.
Wait, isn't the Norwegian flag like the one with the like the red in the like in the left or the left
Yeah,
corner, and then you have the stars,
you
right?
just got it right. But you just got it right.
Oh, that's
I want to
great.
lose this game to Isaiah. Come on.
I got it right, and I was thinking about the Australia flag. Unbelievable.
Is that the color the Vancouver Blues' flag too, Isaiah?
Can it be?
It can be whatever you want.
All right. All right, Sarge. This is to tie it with Isaiah, so maybe you don't lose to Isaiah here. All right. What country invented tea?
Oh.
India.
Ooh, I think I know. I know. It's
No, that is not correct. All right,
think
Chris,
I know.
What do you think it is?
China.
China is actually correct. So
Oh,
Isaiah managed to pull this off with getting a question right.
And the funny thing about it is, I was thinking about the wrong flag too when I got it.
I lost Isaiah. I feel like the Lakers.
I'm not gonna come on anymore. So
He lost Isaiah. He's like, I lost Isaiah. This sucks. All right.
I
Well,
feel like the Lakers.
anyways, so that is the end of the show. So we want to thank all of our viewers for watching. And so that means, next week, Isaiah, I got to change it up a little bit, and I got to do the sports trivia just to because I don't think you'll win that one. So
Anything but movies. Movies or pop culture.
Careful.
all right. Well, anyways, so Big B, any final thoughts for you?
No, I just glad to be on, and like I stated earlier, not to rub it in, but just to make a statement, we'll never see another game pitched ever like we did in Game 7 30 years ago. Jack Morris going 10 innings and shutting down the Braves to win the World Series. So, but 30 years, history repeats itself. Hopefully, the Braves can pull it off this time.
Hopefully.
So, good luck to Braves, and thanks for everybody joining us
All right,
tonight.
Crispy Bacon.
Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. Hopefully the Braves can pull it out. I'm sure they will, and win the series. Just make sure to tune in coast to coast. We got great shows, and tomorrow is kicking it with Isaiah and Ace, and make sure just to tune in.
Yeah, which tomorrow we're supposed to have a special guest again, so we'll let you know about that special guest. So, Isaiah, any final thoughts to where you can actually say you did not lose again this time? So I'm just saying.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank the fans for tuning in. I just want to say, tune in to Kicking It with Isaiah and Ace tomorrow night. It's going to be a fabulous show. And, I accept my championship trophy for winning this trivia contest. And I'm just glad that I was able to manage to salvage some part of my high school education, which I got 4 years ago. Because if I got all of them wrong tonight, you could just throw my high school diploma in a trash can and or put it in a shredder or something.
All right, and then Sarge, any final thoughts for you?
I just want to say thank you for bringing me on at the last kind of minute. And I enjoyed the time here, roasting Isaiah. So
It's always fun. Well, we were roasting him mainly because his Lakers lost to the freaking Thunder.
no way, the Lakers lost. Whoa!
They blew a 26-point lead.
Yeah, they
Isaiah,
lost.
you got a challenger next week.
They lost
Randy
to
said
the-
he can take it from you.
They lost to the Thunder. So anyway, with that, I hope everybody has a fantastic night. Don't forget tomorrow is Kicking It with Isaiah and Ace and GMs for Hire. So everybody with that, have a great night, and we will see you later.